Hello my friends, we are here today to talk about The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I already did a first impressions video, but that was based literally only on playing like the 10, 15, maybe 20-minute demo at PAX. Obviously I've gotten my hands on the real game now, and I've played a pretty good amount. I couldn't give you like a percentage completed or anything, but you know, I've played a good amount of the game. I've done a good handful of dungeons, so I've gotten a real taste of it and how it works. And so yeah, just to kind of tide you over while you wait for the full review. And on that note, I really don't want to wait a long time. It does I know I have a lot of reviews that I still owe you, and so I'm making this top priority. I'm focused squarely right now on playing the game, beating the game, and then I'm going to be writing the script and getting it into production as soon as I possibly can. I'm not going to really try not to wait on this one. So the thing about this video, though, my impressions, it's kind of like I don't know how I will ultimately feel about the game, and I don't want to just drop this on you and make you feel super worried that you're just waiting for a review that is going to end up being really critical. You know, I don't want to, I recognize that most people are absolutely loving the game, and I don't want to be like the spoil sport. I don't want to be like the one guy who goes against every other opinion on the planet. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to wreck anyone's day, ruin their fun. I don't want you to be super worried that I'm hating it and I'm just gonna cook up this big nasty review or anything. But I will admit though, at this moment, at least where I am in the game, my opinions so far, they are a bit mixed. And I'm sad to say that. I am sad to admit that. I want to enjoy games, you know? I don't, like, sure, I've made a career complaining about games, but generally speaking, I like it best. I prefer when I play a game, and I love it, and I love everything about it, and it's great, and it's a big, happy day, you know? I don't want to be that guy, especially with a game like this. It's Zelda, and it's Zelda herself's first game, and everyone is loving it, so yeah, I don't know. I just want to be upfront. I'm feeling a little critical. I'm feeling pretty mixed on the game so far. I think a lot of my initial worries have kind of ended up feeling kind of legitimate. You know, just certain things about how fiddly the game can be, selecting echoes, and just the entire concept of creating the echoes and kind of managing them. It is more cumbersome than I would like, and I think that really might be like one big thing about this, is there's just kind of like this kind of feeling throughout the game that it never quite clicks for me. It's fun. It's definitely fun to be using the echoes. Like, there's a lot of value to it, but there's just this, like, I don't know, this sense that I keep asking myself, was this all worth it though? Is this all working as well as I feel like it should, as well as they want it to? And I think a really big problem for me is it just kind of feels like I've not run into as much clever design as I was looking for, because like, this is a very puzzle heavy game. This is a puzzly game, you know, like this, giving you all of these elements, all of these echoes to play with. Like, this really is, I mean, overall, it is doing what I wanted the next 2D Zelda to do. You know, if Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, it's all open, 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 and everything is really big. And with Echoes of Wisdom, it did introduce an element of openness because of this whole, like, oh, all these problems have multiple solutions, and you can spawn any item you want. So, like, there's an element of openness to it, but overall, it is very puzzly. It is really focusing in on just, I mean, you know, the echoes, the raw elements. And it has traditional dungeons, and so you're in these puzzle rooms doing these puzzles and making your way through dungeons. So I should say, like, as far as that goes, it is succeeding. It is succeeding, like, format-wise in being the kind of 2D Zelda that I was looking for. But at least where I'm at in the game, I'm kind of just like hoping that it's ramping up. You know, I'm hoping that it's going to keep increasing in complexity in the kinds of ideas that it presents, because I'm just waiting for that cleverness. I'm waiting for that moment where I come up with what feels like a very novel solution, and there's that big aha moment, you know, that click, that thing, and you do it, and you go, oh, that's just, oh, it's so clever, you know, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, that thing where it all clicks and it just feels so good. And it kind of feels like that's what this game is supposed to be, because it's so focused on these player-driven answers to puzzles. And I've just not really had that yet. Every solution so far has mostly just been very obvious and very like, oh, well, you know, it's one of these, so you spawn this, because that's what you always do when there's one of those. You spawn this, and, you know, oh, yeah, it's one of those guys. Okay, well, you just use that. Oh, I gotta get over there. Okay. Beds. Beds. It's beds. You know, they made a joke about it. They joked about it in the trailers, and it was kind of funny. And I'm kind of feeling like it's less funny now. It's kind of like, I feel like 90% of my time with the game is just beds. It's just climbing places using beds. Because the beds are the best, because you can jump on them, and they're long. It's not just a table, so you can kind of stack them. So, yeah, it's basically just been a whole lot of puzzles that feel very straightforward, and kind of like the answers are usually obvious. You know, like a good little, like, kind of handful in there of ones that I kind of had to figure out, but it still didn't lead to that aha moment. That thing that has kind of proven why the game is this way. You know, like, that's it. I don't think the game has done as good of a job as I would like so far, just so far, of proving to me definitively the value of this whole system, this whole formula, the whole Echo thing. It has mostly just kind of felt like a thing to do. It is a hook, it is different, and it is fun, and there is a novelty to it. Just kind of waiting for it to click a little more. It hasn't quite clicked for me. So because it hasn't clicked, like I said before, I'm kind of struggling with the fiddliness of it, of always having to hunt through my echoes, and there's really no good way to sort or categorize them, and just, I don't know, just the whole concept. It's just not quite there yet. Now, I'm remaining hopeful. I'm keeping these blue fuzzy fingers crossed that things do just kind of increase. I mean, it's a Zelda game. Like, of course, the difficulty is going to go up. The complexity of the puzzles is going to go up. So I'm remaining hopeful, and I am still having fun. That's the thing. I really do have to specify here. Even if it hasn't really clicked that much, of course it's still fun. It's still Zelda, you know? Zelda's fun to play. You know, even when the puzzles are quite easy, 2D Zelda is just, it's just a joy. It's just fun. And yeah, there is the novelty of spawning these echoes, and that leads to some novel encounters. Yes, there is something novel about creating these elements of the world in any way that you want, or, you know, jumping up onto trees and feeling like you're going out of bounds, or spawning enemies and watching them fight other enemies. Like, that's fun. That's something we've never had in a Zelda game before, exactly. It's just creating an enemy and watching it just wreck a bunch of other enemies. Like, that is cool. And it's, you know, it's fun to explore Hyrule. It is really big. It is really big, and I like that. And there is something nice about how big and spread out it is. It's, you kind of just, you have time to take a breath, you know? Most 2D Zelda games are so densely packed, and I think that really works for them, but there is a novelty to just kind of spreading it out a bit. I think I wish there were more secrets. That is another thing where I need to play more of the game and explore more of the map before I can definitively say. It does feel like it's a little light on good secrets, considering these big stretches of area. You're kind of just going over them, and I'm like kind of waiting for something to pop up, waiting to see a cave or something, but sometimes it really is just a big open area for running through, which is weird. It's different for a 2D Zelda game, and I guess, I don't know. I gotta just wait and see on that one, I guess. The performance is horrible. It stinks. It stinks. You can even see my live reaction when I booted up the game for the first time. I streamed it. Oh, nuts. I never uploaded that. Okay, well, you can't see it yet, but I'm gonna upload it on Arlo Plays, and yeah, you can see my reaction. It's worse in the beginning of the game. It's not quite a fair representation. You start out in Castletown, and the performance is really terrible there. So it's not quite that bad throughout the rest of the game, but it is, it's still bad. I've been tempted to do, like, just a video on that. Like, I knew I wanted to do an early impressions, but I'm thinking, like, I kind of want to do just to talk about the frame rate, too. I don't know if I will yet. I kind of don't want to start the argument. I don't like arguments, you know? It's the kind of thing where all the comments are just going to be arguing and people telling me I'm a hypocrite for thinking that the frame rate wasn't a problem in Paper Mario, but it is a problem here. I wish I didn't have to explain why that is not hypocritical. Paper Mario is an artistic choice. It was consistent. The problem here is that it's inconsistent, and that's what I can't stand about it. That's always been a thing for me. I'm not as much of a frame rate snob. I think I'm kind of getting there. I'm getting to the point where I am starting to, like, at least versus the beginning of the Switch generation, I do care more about frame rate now than I used to. But overall, for me, it's not so much a thing of, like, having high frame rates. It's keeping them consistent. I don't even care if it's low, if it's at least consistently low. But when you swing wildly, like this game does, from, like, 60 FPS, like, really nice and smooth, down to, like, 20 something, like, really choppy. It's horrible. It is awful, and it genuinely mars the game experience. Not enough to, like, break it, but it is, like, it feels a little bit, it's like a small version, a much, much smaller and more reasonable version of, like, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, where it's just kind of like, am I playing a Nintendo game right now? You know, like, just like Nintendo. They do usually have a standard of quality, and this kind of inconsistent performance is not something I'm used to seeing in a Nintendo game. It's just, it's weird. I mean, like, Link's Awakening remake is one thing, but, like, this, obviously, like, Aonuma and the Zelda team, they had their hands all over this. It was made by Grezzo, but this is still, this is a mainline Zelda game. And I cannot fathom why it runs like this. It's just so inconsistent. It plummets so regularly, and it swings so wildly. It's not even, you know, it's a variable frame rate, but it's not even like, it doesn't just kind of rise and fall as things happen. Instead, it just tanks. Suddenly, in certain places, it just tanks, and then will skyrocket up, instantly back up to 60, and it's disorienting. It's, sure, when it's running at 60, it's nice. You know, I hate to say that I prefer it to just not ever be at 60, because, like, why would you do that? Wouldn't you rather it was sometimes at 60? But I don't know. If they just capped it at 30, even with the lower dips, because when it dips, it's lower than 30. I'm pretty darn sure it's lower than 30. I think that would still be better. I think I'd probably take that. A lowish frame rate that sometimes gets a little lower versus this one. Swings up and down like crazy, and it's really distracting, and I really don't like it. I think it's a really bad thing. I don't know. Yeah, not killing the game. It's not making it like, you shouldn't buy this, but it is like, what happened? Why is this a problem? I just don't get it, but, you know, yeah, I won't talk more about that unless I do a whole video on it. I don't know if I will. We'll see. I am liking how dark-ish the game can be, though. It's not a dark game. It's not a serious game. It's really just this whole rift thing, and I am really enjoying that aspect because essentially it's all non-dangerous, so it's not really that dark, you know? No one's dying. And you save them, you know, you go in a rift and you save everybody, but, like, while it's happening, it's pretty dark. Seeing all the people frozen in midair and they're dripping, and you know that if you don't save them, then eventually they'll disappear. Like, it's cool. I don't know. I really like that element of it. And, you know, it's almost like they're only playing with something that dire because the game is so colorful. So it kind of disarms the game in a way. You know, if this were like a realistic or like Twilight Princess looking Zelda that did the same thing, this would be freaky. It'd be scary. So like the chibi, colorful style kind of lets them do this, but then in its own way, that itself is scary because you're seeing these cute little characters and they're frozen in horror. They're like, I don't know. I just think it's fun. I'm really enjoying that part. I guess I should end it there just because I should end it somewhere. I do have to make a video that ends, and, you know, obviously I could talk about the game for hours because I'm very opinionated, and I've been playing a Zelda game, and I got a lot of opinions about it, but I'm going to try to keep it kind of surface level there. To summarize, I am having fun. It is fun. I think I was looking for more, and I'm hoping there's more. I'm not so sure about this whole Echoes thing. I'm waiting for it to really click. I'm just waiting for it to prove itself. And, I guess we will just see what happens. Thank you for watching. I hope that you are having fun playing the game. Statistically, you probably are. You know, I looked through, like, comments and stuff. And, you know, I think there are people who share opinions with me, but at least according to the Nintendo Life poll that they did, asking everyone what they would rate it so far, it was like 90-something% of people were like 8 and up. So, so yeah. At least so far, I don't know what I would rate it, but it seems I might be in the minority. I don't know. We'll see. See you later. Have a good day.